ladies and gentlemen. Today my speech is called Gestures, and let's say that today I'm going to talk about gestures in our lives. And I'm sure that each of us is very emotional, and each of us uses lots of gestures when we are talking in private, when we are talking to our friends, with our family members. But the moment we stand here, we become still, frozen. We don't move, we don't do proper things that we were trying and we were planning to do. And the same with me. I'm not an exclusion from this group. So anyway, today I'm going to talk about gestures, and it's very hard for me to talk about it, but anyway, I would say that my first awareness about importance of gestures in our life was when I was a university student, and you know, there is like such a long table, and along this long table the students are sitting. So I was sitting here, for example, and my friends sat on both sides of beside me. So what usually during the seminar we ought to stand up and to talk about something. And I remember that it was a seminar about Greek ancient civilization, and I was talking about cheese production. And somehow when I talk usually, I use lots of gestures unconsciously. But the moment both of my friends, they hold my hands, I couldn't talk. I couldn't say anything. Though I could continue speaking, I couldn't talk. And this idea, this small experiment gave me an idea how important gestures are in our life. Of course, they show our emotions, and they show, of course, our position and what we really think about something. It doesn't matter what. So, and my second experience was also when I was a university student, and you might know that at the university I also learned Japanese language. So when I learned Japanese language, my professor, sensei, he was a Japanese. And after the class, I remember, so I came to him and I started to talk to him. Sensei, I have one question, two questions, three questions. How can you explain it? And his reaction was, so he couldn't move. He couldn't say anything. He was just look, and the way how I move my hands, he was looking at me. I understood that something is wrong with me. And only after it, of course, I understood that there is like no questions. First of all, I allowed such in Japanese society, but second of all, no gestures. And so the way how I should ask some Japanese sensei about grammar points or whatever, I have to come and to ask and to indicate something point, or just to stand and to ask motionlessly without any gestures. This would be a very polite and nice manner. So, and when I came to Japan, of course, my first impression, I was, I raised eyebrows, yeah. I raised eyebrows at Narita International Airport in Japan, because when I came, the moment you enter Japan, everybody bows you. This is just a tradition. Everybody bows you, bows you, bows you. And because I'm a foreigner, and for example, I don't know the way how to make it. So usually, for us, I think it's a very interesting gesture. But how Japanese show the way, it's just like, please go that way, please, you know. So they don't go there. It's not in their way. So they show it usually with these hands and bowing. Somehow it's, I'm sorry, I can't copy it, but still it's very interesting and fascinating. And so when I lived there, of course, I saw many different languages, gesture languages, because it's a different culture. And what I learned is that, for example, when people meet or when friends meet, usually we have our meeting, and for example, with girls we can hug and we can kiss on the cheek. But in Japan, it doesn't matter, you just come and you bow. So nothing is allowed as such. So the moment, for example, I used to come back to Kiev, for first 2 or 3 weeks, I was freezing, like, yeah, hello. I wasn't used to gestures, to hugs. And one more thing that amazed me, and I also raised eyebrows. So it was done when I was talking to my friends in Japanese, and she, it's interesting because she's in her 30s almost, but still she says not I, but she says her name. And in, like, for example, if my name is Lena, I can say Lena-chan, Lenachka, which means, yeah. So she called herself Yu-chan, and at the same time she continued indicating her finger here, like me, like watakushi, like Yu-chan, and I was really amazed because sometimes, in its usual manner, sometimes the Japanese, when they indicate whom we are talking about, in order to be clear what concerns them and what concerns not them, they indicate to us in this way. Me? I'm sorry, I can't make it with the Japanese manner, gestures, but still I hope you understand what I mean. And one more thing that is interesting, and I hope that Andrei will help me. For example, Andrei, could you stand here? I'm sure that you have a visit card. Yeah, could you give me a visit card?
In Japanese man?
No. That's the way it works. Okay, this way. Yeah, in Japan, you should indicate this card towards this side, and you should give it with both sides. And you, yeah, and the moment you take it, you have to be very careful. You have to read everything. If everything is clear, you shouldn't take it like, yeah, okay. So you have to be very attentive. Like, oh yeah, Anglийский, yeah. To return to the topic of gestures, what else I should say? That while I lived in Japan, I started, of course, to use the gestures as in the Japanese manner, but still I missed my gestures, my own gestures that are very peculiar for my personality. So I would say that I'm happy that I'm back and that I can use my natural gestures in this society that can understand them properly, in a proper manner. And to summarize, I would say that, of course, it's important for us to live in a society where we understand each other gestures as they are meant to be understood. And at the same time, I would like to say that be sincere, be simple in words, manners, and gestures, and use as well as instruct. And if you can make a man laugh, you can make him think. And if you can make him think and make him like you and then believe you. Thank you very much.